Thank you for checking out crypto.chartguys.com, the source for technical analysis in the cryptocurrency world. We are proud to announce our own crypto alert system designed to give you the most critical technical trading information possible no matter where you are. Keep your eyes on the market with mobile or email alerts for MACD crosses, RSI levels, and even inside bar alerts for dozens of coins across multiple exchanges. New features and proprietary ChartGuys indicators are already in development. Our alert system is very easy to customize and utilize, so don't hesitate to sign up for the most effective crypto trading tool on the market at crypto.chartguys.com. Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. This video is going to be a bit of a check-in with the chart guys and things that we are moving towards in the future, as well as some check-in on the alert system, the new alerts that have recently gone out, and some things that we're going to be looking for in the future there as well. So to start it out, again, thanks for everybody for all the support. It's allowed us a lot of flexibility in terms of being able to develop these different services and alert system and things like that, allowing us some creative license. It's been a lot of fun, and we appreciate all the motivation and feedback we've been receiving on the alert system. It's really been overwhelmingly positive, and that has really lit the fire in terms of motivating us to continue working with this. So where we stand right now, the Chart Guides membership in terms of the chat room and the live streams, that's currently capped. We have a wait list of over 2,000 people. A lot of people showing interest. We appreciate that. We've taken the people that have completed both courses that we've made, and we move them to the front of the wait list. And the reason that we do that is because these are people that have a shortened learning curve in the sense that they are already going to be speaking the language that we speak in the chat room, and they will be able to absorb the information more rapidly. So that's why we are expediting their spot on the list for that purpose. So again, if you've taken both courses and you do want membership, you can send in an email and we will move you to the top of the list. Otherwise, we are letting in a few people every day, and that's to ensure that we do not overwhelm the system and we do not have a bunch of new people not really knowing how we do things. If we do it slowly, it allows for the information to be facilitated a lot more efficiently, essentially. And, you know, the example I use is if you have a classroom of 20 people and you all of a sudden open it up to 100 people, it's going to be a much less efficient classroom, and the instructors are not going to be able to answer and provide as much detail and things like that. So we want to avoid that, and rather than jack our prices up and drive away a bunch of people from being able to participate, the waitlist system is something that we're currently using, and so far it's going well in that regard. So aside from that, the alert system, we have a new website, and we also have a new Chart Guys website in development. So that's going to be coming down. That's a little bit of a lesser priority. A higher priority is right now we've got the alert system. Right now, the alert system is our minimum viable product. And that's essentially, we developed it. We said, okay, let's get it out there. People started to give really positive feedback. And now we're going to come out with an upgrade on the website in about a month. And that's going to be a design upgrade. And it's also going to add some new features in terms of interactive charts on the website that literally have the alerts pop up on the chart when they get triggered. So more of a visual representation of the alerts rather than just getting the text, where you'll be able to see on the chart what the alert is triggering and the conditions that are being met on that chart. So we're going to be looking at here right now. I've just got the daily Bitcoin chart up, but let's look at some of our more recent alerts that we've been putting out. The most recent last three is the abnormal volume alert, which signals when there's a spike in volume compared to an average over a certain period of time. Then we came out with the climax alert, the overbought and oversold climax alert. And what that does is it takes abnormal volume and it combines it with extreme RSI levels in both directions in terms of telling us when things are really overbought or really oversold. This is our most commented on and most appreciated indicator at this point. Very clearly, it's hands down getting the best response in terms of accurate signals. So we're really looking forward to that. We're going to keep a close eye on that one and potentially tweak it or add it to other indicators to make it even more beneficial. But as of right now, we've been seeing some really great overbought and oversold indications with that indicator. And the third one that we've just recently added is our breakout indicator. It's a volume and breakout indicator. So what that does is it takes our price shear alert that we've had in place for quite some time, and it combines that with volume. So the price shear alert will signal first because it has less conditions to be met in order to fire off. And then once the volume and breakout indicator triggers, that's almost a confirmation of the price shear, and it tells you, okay, there is volume behind this breakout or breakdown, And it is, like I said, a confirmation because it will trigger a little bit later because it needs that volume piece of the puzzle to signal. But it can give us some information in terms of, okay, it's not just a fluke. We don't want false alerts. And the more conditions that we add to alert that need to be met, the less of a false alert that we're going to get. So let's look at a couple examples just to start it off, just from yesterday's trading. This is Bitcoin on the hourly time frame. Bitcoin overnight broke 11,000 and we hit about 11,200. And here we are. Here's our our overbought climax alert on the hourly time frame. Went out at $11,208 at 1:50 UTC time. That was pretty much the top. And that was a signal that we can be looking for a pullback. And, because we were in an uptrend, we would only be looking for, in general, a couple $100s of a pullback to establish a higher low. But this was a scenario where it's hitting the top and we're seeing a very significant pullback. And the other factor at play here is the 4-hour RSI. The 4-hour RSI, when this hourly signal went off, was in the low to mid 70s. And considering we're coming from an all-out dump, a couple weeks ago, that RSI hitting overbought for the first time is definitely a place to be looking for some consolidation to begin. The daily chart needs some consolidation. So getting this signal on the hourly time frame, again, these signals aren't something that you generally want to just rush on and act on without getting a complete picture of what's going on. Now, that can change. Say I have a complete picture of what's going on and then I leave the computer and I go about my day and go to the gym and things like that. If I get a signal that I'm looking for, that's a different scenario and I can act on that signal because I already know the setup. But if you're not familiar with the setup or what's going on, you want to get an alert, you want to come back, check the daily chart, check the 4-hour chart, see what these other time frames are doing. And I could see, let's say, because the Bitcoin daily chart is extended with 4 big green days in a row, and because the 4-hour chart, up at the time when that hourly signal went off, that 4-hour RSI was up almost at 80. So the 4-hour RSI telling me that the pullback coming needs to cool off those RSI levels, and then the hourly chart giving that signal right at the top, that's a take profit signal, even though we are in an uptrend. And I could do multiple things with that. I could take half profit. I could let half of it ride a little bit and then exit the other half if a higher low pattern is broken, or I could just exit it all right there and be pleased with my gains. And knowing that the daily chart is due for a pullback, happily wait with cash and wait to rebuy that dip. Another thing I want to point out is while I was brainstorming for this video with Jason, we came up with a new idea. And that's the sense that there's 2 different scenarios, obviously, an uptrend and a downtrend. And in those 2 different scenarios, we're going to be looking at different indicators and alerts that we want to go off. So we just came up with this idea literally an hour ago. Well, why don't we have 2 settings where we can toggle between, one of them being a bull setting when we're in an uptrend, we switch it so our alerts are signaled on these time frames, on these alerts. And when we're in a downtrend, we can toggle to bear mode on our settings, and that will trigger another saved outline of alerts that we can then use on a downtrend. So just a little bit of a difference in terms of which I would switch between on these alerts. And I would personally, well, before we get into that, I will look at just the rest of these climax here. So we had the overbought climax on the hourly, and here's the 15-minute climax overbought. That occurred at 11,100. So 15-minute climax went off a little bit sooner than the hourly climax, but if you get a 15-minute overbought climax and then an hourly overbought shortly after, that's definitely a signal things are getting overbought, and we are very likely to consolidate in the near-term future. As we saw, we ended up pulling back $1,000, over $1,000 from that alert. So definitely a good one to be acting on. A couple other ones in terms of yesterday. Obviously the RSI, the classic alerts of just the RSI alone, very useful. BTC overbought on the RSI on the 15-minute time frame. That triggered again up at the top. And then we had bounce opportunities on this dump on the 15-minute RSI. And this is going to segue into the toggle that I was just talking about between bull mode and bear mode. So here on the 15-minute time frame, we had an oversold indicator, and we didn't see a ton of a bounce from here. It was definitely enough of a bounce, a couple $100 to flip and lock in that profit. Or if you wanted to try and let it ride a little bit longer, it was enough of a bounce to either set your stop loss at break even or set your stop loss just below the low, and that would allow you a small loss if we do end up pulling back further. And then we had another Bitcoin RSI oversold alert go off, and that one ended up right at the bottom, and a lot of follow through on that bounce, over $500. So that's the kind of scenario where you put yourself in a position to profit, and again, you protect your trade. And if it doesn't follow through, you're back to all cash. And even if you ate a small loss on that first attempt, on the second attempt here, obviously that would have paid, 5 times over what that loss would have been, if that, even more. So Just really good alerts to put ourselves in good positions. Again, it doesn't mean just blindly buy when the RSI is oversold. You still need to look and see where's support, where do I put my stop loss, what's my exit target signal on this move, and establish a trade game plan with these alerts leading that game plan essentially. So here's some more here. This one is our new alert, and we don't have the actual timestamps just yet, but this is where these alerts were firing off. And this again is the price shear combined with volume. So here on the 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, this was signaling when the dumps were near their bottoms. This was showing a high bear price movement to the downside combined with volume. And this alert combined with climax, oversold climax alerts is going off, definitely would have been great indications of the bounces that were to follow. And because this is on the longer term time frame, the 4-hour chart, these bounces that followed through were thousands of dollars on Bitcoin, really significant gains. So both of those went off. And here's another image in terms of Litecoin. Just these past couple of days, the 15-minute time frame. Again, it's price shear, which is the rapid price movement away from an average over a certain amount of time, and it's combined with volume. And that volume is the important piece because it tells us, essentially, I call volume our prove it indicator, where the bulls or the bears need to prove that they have momentum and strength in their favor. And for these alerts, combining the price shear with the volume puts that built-in prove it indicator with it. So we know if these alerts are going off, we have rapid price movement, and we have the volume behind it backing it up. So here you can see before each breakout or right early into the stages of breakout, these alerts have gone off multiple times on these moves to the upside. So let's transition now to what I was talking about with toggling which alerts you're going to be using. So that's obviously a question we get a lot of the time. People see these alerts and they want to utilize them and they say, how do I set up my alerts? The number one factor on how you set up your alerts is, are you a day trader or are you a swing trader? That tells you what time frames to focus on. Obviously, you want to know what exchange you're trading on, and then what coins you're interested in. For me personally, I'm still trading these big three, and that's where the 99% of my trading the past 6 months has been in the big three, and that's where all my focus is attention. So I'm only interested in those coins on the exchange that I'm trading. So if you're a day trader, you're looking at the 15-minute, the hourly, and you're still concerned with all the bigger time frames, the 4-hour and the daily as well. But if you're a swing trader, you're not concerned with the 15-minute time frame at all, and you're looking at the hourly at the lowest, and then the 4-hour and the daily are the most important for you if you're a swing trader. So that's a way to eliminate some of the time frames in terms of what you're looking for, and of course some of the coins with what you're looking for. And in terms of the alerts that you're using, it's a lot of personal preference. And we have on the website crypto.chartguys.com, if you go down to the bottom of the website, we have the indicators tab. And if you click this indicators button, we have little videos, and I just made a playlist on the YouTube channel as well. Any videos that we make on the alert system, I'll put on that playlist, so you'll be able to tune in. We have the talk with Jason and I where we go over the system and how to set up these alerts and things like that. So check out that YouTube playlist if you're interested in more alert details. All of these videos are now on there, but these are just little short videos that describe what the alert is, how it can be utilized, and things like that. So for me personally, I suggest everybody play around with these alerts and see what you like the best. My favorite indicators are inside bar, the price shear, RSI, but now the RSI is being replaced for me with this overbought and oversold climax indicator. So inside bar, overbought, oversold climax, price shear, and I might even replace my price shear alert in terms of the new alert, which is the volume plus breakout, because that factors in price shear and it just adds that volume representation as well. So I don't have a whole lot that I use. There are other ones out there, of course, the TCG cross with the exponential moving averages crossing, and other the whole bunch here, MACD and things like that, psychological levels. But if you were to have 5 coins that you're trading and you're interested in 4 time frames and you're signaling all of these alerts, your phone's going to be blowing up all the time. And I like to limit it. Of course, I'm on the computer all the time, so I don't need these alerts in general because I know what's going on in the chart. But I do like to limit it down to say, if this is going to be waking me up in the middle of the night, then I want it to be a really good scenario. So I'm going to limit things, and I'm going to, not going to get blown up on my phone all the time. I'm going to make sure that it's some really nice setups that it's telling me about for me to get interested, because essentially if I'm not watching the computer, that's intentional. I don't want to be watching the computer. So for me, inside bars on the hourly, the 4-hour, and the daily time frame are a must. The the volume climax, the overbought and oversold climax, I love that on the 15-minute time frame, on the hourly time frame, on the 4-hour time frame. But this is where we're going into uptrend versus downtrend. Are we in a bull trend? Are we in a bear trend? Because our alerts are going to differ. So if we are in an uptrend, as we have been on Bitcoin, this 15-minute time frame is where we're getting our oversold signals. We haven't gotten oversold on the hourly or the 4-hour time frame anytime recently because we're in an uptrend. So the 15-minute time frame hitting oversold conditions, we had it touch 30 RSI, we had it just dip below 30, and some of these times it did signal the overbought, or I should say the oversold climax alerts, but other times it was only the RSI alert. So that's why maybe you want to keep the RSI alert by itself, continuing to fire off alerts on your system, because when we are in an uptrend, we don't get to these extreme RSI levels. The bulls are buying these dips. So here again, the example where the RSI didn't even reach 30, it got down to 33 and bounced. It just touched 30 and bounced. So these would not signal oversold climaxes because the RSI is not extended enough, but it would signal oversold RSI alerts. So essentially, if we are in an uptrend, the oversold alerts that are going to be going out are on shorter term timeframes. It's the 15-minute and the hourly. Whereas if you remember our downtrend, we were getting oversold alerts and climax alerts on the hourly and the 4-hour time frame. So we're not going to hit oversold on the hourly and 4-hour time frame if we're in an uptrend, which is why if we're in an uptrend, I want a certain set of signals that I'm going to be looking at, and the 4-hour and the hourly oversold climaxes are not going to be on that list. And then if we switch to a bearish downtrend, well, hourly and the 4-hour RSI climax are definitely going to be on that list. So that's just a small example. Inside bars I would use for both bull and bear trends. RSI levels in terms of time frames of oversold I'm looking for. Again, if we're in a significant downtrend like we were previously, the 15-minute RSI alone was not enough of a signal for me to be interested. I needed the 15-minute and the hourly oversold, whereas because we were in an uptrend recently, the 15-minute RSI being oversold is all you're going to get. So that's definitely something to be looking out for. Abnormal volume in terms of, if you're looking for a spike on, news, you're going to get an alert with the breakout and volume indicator, the newest one, because that's going to give you price shear and volume. If you're getting an overbought dump or an oversold climax, again, those alerts are going to be going out for those time frames. So essentially, those are the ones that I would be using, and I would switch. Not a huge difference between my bull and bear list, but there would definitely be some time frame indications that I would mix up, and I would want longer term bearish signals to be going off on a downtrend and shorter term bearish signals to be going off on an uptrend if I'm looking to enter. And again, all of this is from the perspective of someone, myself, who is only trading bullish, and that's because GDAX only allows for bullish trading right now, and I do not trust my capital on any of these other exchanges at this point. As soon as I'm able to trade bearish, I will absolutely be utilizing these alerts a little bit differently, in the sense that, a bearish price shear break tells me that there's a lot of bear volume. We just broke a key support level, and that might be a change in the trend. So that could be an entry to go bearish on, a signal to go bearish on. So there's definitely all different kinds of ways. And that's why it's a tough question when people ask us, what alerts should I use? Well, it depends on your trading style. It depends on the time frame you're looking at. Are you trading bullish or bearish? All of these questions are going to differ which alert system is going to be best for you. So the bottom line is play with it. Play around with these systems, and even if you're not acting on them, see what these alerts would signal, and then look at the price action. Another really beneficial part about this alert system is it can be used as an informational tool. Let's say inside bars is new to you in your quest to learning technical analysis. You get an inside bar alert going off. It doesn't mean you're going to race to buy it. It means you go back and look at the chart and say, okay, this is what an inside bar looks like. This is what the break looks like. And this is what the follow through looked like. That's the most important part. Look at how the break plays out. Look at how the signal plays out. And that's for all of them, not just inside bars. The climax alerts, the overbought and oversold. Watch how these indications play out and say, okay, wow, when the RSI and the high volume does get over 75 RSI, we really do pull back the majority of the time. I should probably look to take profit there. And, for 1 out of every 10 times it keeps running, those other 9 times we'll pull back and it'll be a good decision. So I appreciate everybody. Again, the feedback has been phenomenal. We're going to run with this for a long time, and we're going to change the domain. We're in the process of purchasing a domain name to rebrand it a little bit and get a little bit more of a catchy name. But appreciate all the support, and we're going to continue putting out more indicators. We're now looking to develop new ones, and we're going to be looking to continuously improve. So we will see you shortly, and feel free to ask any questions.